What's up, guys? Welcome back to More Than a Conversation. But I want to let you guys know something. Today we got something a little bit special for you. As you notice, I don't have Forever the Arrowverse here with me. It's just me on a solo stream. And so this is something we're going to be doing special for the Ashoka TV series, and that is going to be Matt's Mic, a pod with just me. It's going to be a podcast, tiny series that I'll host when we review TV shows or something, or we just need to do a solo pod. This is going to be the format that I'm going to use for you guys. So, as I mentioned in the title, this is going to be for the Ashoka show. And so, those of you who watched episode 1 and episode 2, you'll know a lot about those two from what me and Forever discussed. However, I'm going to be giving y'all a breakdown of episode 2. And so me and Forever, I would have wanted to talk to y'all Monday morning sometime after I would watch the show that Tuesday night. But, I waited for Forever to watch it so that y'all could have some of his opinion inside of this too. And so all around, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. All right, thank you Inside for popping in. I appreciate all the support, man. But I thoroughly enjoyed the episode. I loved it, and there was several things we noticed in this episode that I thoroughly liked. But before about me, we can discuss what Forever was thinking. Forever felt that this was more of a filler style episode, which is, kind of what we got except for the end of the episode. But yeah, basically a lot of training sequences, a lot of dialogue, just getting in depth of these characters. And at points it felt like the episode was slow, which is, I agree with my co-host points. However, there's something that I want to point out because I've seen everything Star Wars. And so I know all the connections, everything in Star Wars. But before I get started with the review of this episode, I will say I said that I was going to fact check episode 1 and 2 to see if Ryder and Jai-Kel had significance. Ryder is indeed played by the same actor. He's revisiting his role and did a great job with it. And we also got to see Jai-Kel, who I believe was Ezra's best friend, on Lothal. And so it was cool getting to see these two original characters coming back to the show. So kind of just going down from top to bottom. The first thing I really noticed was the Purgles. I was so happy to see the Purgles again because that gave us some insight of, these creatures that we saw mid season of Star Wars Rebels, and the creatures that we saw once again show up at the end for the season finale at the moment of Ezra's sacrifice. And I thought it was really cool, getting to see them because, that's just more animated content brought to life. And so I thoroughly enjoyed it. I liked getting to see them. From what I got to see, the design was really clean. Sounds were really clean. And it was just a really cool scene, Ashoka and Sabine flying their ship through the tentacles trying to outrun the mercenaries. Um, and yeah, they did a really good job on the Purgles. And so number 2 on my list is, I feel like I nailed the theory on the hyperspace ring. I spoke with Forever on this, and I don't know if I shared this in the first pod, but I hope that I did. But that is going to be the hyperspace ring. It is a hyperspace ring that Morgan is building with the mercenaries, and I believe that the hyperspace ring is going to allow them to jump to the other galaxy, and then not just that, but it will enable them to grab Thrawn's ship that doesn't have a functioning hyperdrive at this moment, and will allow them to jump and bring Thrawn and his ship back to their galaxy. I believe this because, that's the same thing we saw with most ships. When a ship didn't have a functioning hyperdrive, they used hyperspace rings. And also, another thing that I considered is in that episode, at the scene where we got to see, Hera meet with Mon Mothma and all of them, Hera and Mon Mothma speak on the fact that the Imperial fleet is scattered. They're not unified anymore. They're just basically going through the galaxy trying to survive. And I think that it is going to be that Morgan needs both Thrawn and his command ship that we saw get taken away by the Purgles at the end of Star Wars Rebels. They need Thrawn and his command ship to be that symbol that, hey, you thought you killed us, but we're back. And that way the entire Imperial fleet, though it is scattered, they can return and rally behind Thrawn. And so that's what I think, kind of like a flagship, like how Yamato was for Japan, or America's aircraft carriers, or the HMS Hood for Britain during World War II. I believe that Thrawn's ship is supposed to be the flagship for the Imperial Navy. And if Thrawn comes back with that ship, he could unify the Empire and be heir to the Empire, like they were saying. So that's my leading theory that I think is going to come true, but we shall see. Number 3 on the list, we finally got to see Jacen Syndulla, Hera's son. It was really cool getting to see him, brought into live action. I know there was some controversy where people thought that they were getting rid of the green hair due to a Lego set they released before the show came out. Yeah, it was cool that they kept the green hair and showed that, he still has it to pay tribute to his younger look from Star Wars Rebels. And so I think they did a really good job with him. And we had that Chopper was almost acting like a babysitter to little Jacen, and that was cool to see. And number 4 on my list, we see that Sabine is learning to try and use the Force, and Ahsoka uses the line that, the Force resides in all living things. This could be a callback to Qui-Gon Jinn's quote in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, where, Qui-Gon told little Anakin and his mother Shmi that the Force resides in all living things. And it was cool getting to see this thing. It's almost like as if it was, I used the example of sports. People who are born naturally athletic is the same way the Force appears to work in the Star Wars universe. There's some people that is naturally talented at sports, that they can play on day one and be super successful at it. However, with enough training, anybody can become good at a sport, as long as they're willing to put the time, effort, and diligence into it. And so that's what I learned about the Force, is it appears to be the same way. There's some people who are your standard Jedi that are just born with the Force. They're Force sensitive. They can use the Force and learn to master it. However, there's people like Sabine that is just your average citizen to society, and it's going to take them having to train and learn in order to be able to use the Force. And so it'll be cool if we get to see Sabine use the Force. It's going to be interesting thinking about, because, her being Mandalorian and someone who hasn't really used the Force before, it's going to be interesting seeing that. Number 5 on my list, it was cool to see Mon Mothma again. I kind of talked about her earlier, but she played a really key part in Star Wars Andor, but we also see her make appearances in Rebels, Rogue One, the original trilogy. And there was one other. Andor, Rogue One, original trilogy, and Rebels. That we see Mon Mothma appear in, and it was cool again to see her, reprise. And I believe that she was actually Chancellor now, if I remember, Chancellor Mon Mothma. But we shall see. So it was cool again to see the character come back, and excited to see if they do anything more with her further on in the show. And my main final point that I wanted to talk about, this was something that I noticed, and that is, it is cool to see that Sabine and Ahsoka development. There's always this mindset that Ahsoka is overbearing on Sabine, that's pushing her too hard, or Sabine will never get it. However, we got to see some development in that final fight scene that, they're working together. Ahsoka had to, instead of being this forceful master, she actually stepped back to help Sabine. She stepped back and let Sabine take the lead. Let Sabine, say, dive and dip while they're flying the ship around, so that while Sabine was manning the guns, Ahsoka could focus on flying the ship, and they worked together as a unit, as master and Padawan. And I thought that was a really cool development. Instead of being this overbearing master who's constantly, degrading the ability of the Padawan, or, not hearing them and what they have to say, it is cool getting to see Ahsoka step into that light, as a non-traditional Jedi trained by Anakin in non-traditional ways, and then leaving the Order. It is cool seeing her put her own twist on training Sabine. And yeah, it was really cool getting to see this scene and get to see them work hand in hand. So thank you guys for tuning in and watching this. This was something that me and Forever discussed doing, especially for a show like this, where we're not going to do a full podcast every single week talking about each episode of Ahsoka. And so what we decided to do is I'm going to be hosting these short episodes to just give you guys some insight on each episode and give it a kind of episode breakdown. So yeah, a lot happened in this episode. We got to see Sabine train under Ahsoka more. We got to see Hugh Yang being sassy, and that was quite funny to watch. We watched some more train dialogue on, Sabine having to try and step into that role as being a Jedi. We got to see fight scenes, the almost completion of the ring, and then we saw Ahsoka and Sabine, after their ship is severely damaged, we see them land down on the planet where Mon Mothma, Balin Skrull, and his Padawan resided on the end of episode 2. And so we see Balin Skrull as the ending shots. Balin Skrull sends some droids and soldiers into the woods to try and hunt them down. And so we may get to see that scene that was teased at in the trailer of Ahsoka and Sabine fighting side by side against Merrick and Balin Skrull's apprentice. Pardon me for not remembering her name. But yeah, and so thank you guys for tuning in, watching this. I can't wait for you guys to see this on YouTube, and thank you for all the love and support. Make sure to check the YouTube channel for community posts or video uploads. Also, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you want, you can join my Discord server. It is linked in my profile. And once I go to my intro clip, you'll actually get to see my Twitter, Insta, and all my links there. But if you want to join the Discord, you can go to my YouTube homepage and look at my profile. There is a link there. If it does not work, just put a comment under one of my YouTube videos, and I'll make sure to get to it and help you get into the Discord so you can see live updates on everything going on and tune into each of these videos and streams. So take care, guys. I had a blast doing this, and looking forward to episode 4 coming to us Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So take care, guys. Love you all, and we'll catch you all in the next one.